and hopefully my vision comes to life. And that's like really annoying. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing a 5 looks 1 palette with the new Natasha Denona Zendo palette. I did do a 2 looks 1 palette and just a general palette review with swatches and comparisons, and I'll have it up in the cards if you're interested in that. But I'm really excited to see what I come up with for these 5 looks. If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I do a ton of product reviews and colorful makeup looks. Let's see how colorful we can be. But yeah, let's get into this video. I just thought I was going to be colorful, but I don't know if I will be colorful. I'm actually going to try to do a pretty neutral look, I think. Keep it kind of peachy. I haven't used any of these like peachy shades over here, so I'm actually just gonna try to do that. First, I'm gonna go in with the shade Calm, and that's gonna go all over the crease. I actually haven't decided if I'm gonna do like a full cut crease situation. I think I am gonna do kind of like a little mini cut crease. I'm actually just gonna take this all over the crease right here and just build it up to my liking. I'm using a rougher 27 brush to blend that all out. I'm just gonna take a little bit of balance and see how that deepens out. I just don't want it to be too brown tone. I want to remain peachy. Oop, my bad. Oh my goodness. You know what? I think I'm saving it. Just blend. Just gonna cut my crease real quick. Using a rougher 28 brush, I'm gonna go in with the shade Aura. This one's stunning. It's a bit of a duochrome. It has like red, gold, peachy sparkles, and I love it. I'm actually gonna leave a space near the, like, what's it called, the lash line, I guess. I'm gonna use a little bit more of my P. Louise base and just kind of sketch out where I want the liner to go. I'm gonna do one eye at a time because I'm scared I'm gonna mess everything up. I'm gonna use a rougher 03 brush. It's a really tiny brush. It's just stained with a different shade. I'm gonna take the shade Bigger, and that's gonna be my colored liner situation. I'm so excited. Let's just take this slowly. I love a good red eyeshadow. Please don't have fallout though. I am living for this combo. Like, I think this is really cute. Something out of the ordinary, something I wouldn't normally do. For the lower lash line, I'm actually gonna take the shade Flow. I just think the contrast will be super cute. I'm gonna take a rougher 02 brush for this. This is a way to dabble in both sides of the palette without being too crazy. If you're a little overwhelmed with how to combine these colors, I think this is like a good step in that direction, you know? I do have a little bit of fallout from that shade, the Flow shade. For the inner corner, I'm gonna take my favorite shade in the whole palette. Pretty much the only inner corner shade I've used. This is Yama. It's got a really pretty duochrome, and it actually is a shade that ties in both sides of the palette. It's got like a blue shift, but it's like a red undertone somehow. I love this. Okay, so this is the final first look. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I just love the red liner and the contrast with the blue and the waterline. It lets you tackle both sides of the palette without being too much and having too much conflict, you know? I really hope you enjoyed this look, and let's move on to look number 2. Okay, so I'm back and I'm ready for a look number 2. I want to do kind of a more neutral look, slightly combining both sides of the palette again. Right? Did I do that for my first look? I don't even remember what my first look was, even though it was like a couple of days ago. I'm gonna take a BK Beauty 202 brush. I really like this fluffy brush for packing on a, for example, transition shade. So I'm gonna take the shade Balance as my transition shade for this look. Forgot to, oh my gosh, pat this down. That shade definitely appears much darker on the eyes than it does in the pan, and it freaks me out sometimes when that happens because I feel like it just needs to be real, right? And I'm gonna concentrate it on the outer corner too and like blend it out. Really nice V shape. Next, I'm gonna take the shade Mindful. This is one of the cream to powder formula, so I'm gonna take a pretty dense brush from Rougher. This is a Rougher 01 brush. This is gonna deepen the outer corner and the crease. This one's pretty pigmented too, so you gotta be pretty careful. First, packing it on and then blending it toward the crease. I love the cream to powder formula. I think it's really innovative. Before I continue, I'm gonna take a little bit more Balance and the same brush that I use for Balance and just kind of blend out the outer edges, making sure there's not a harsh line. There's not a lot of fallout with these shades, which I'm so grateful for because I hardly ever do my base makeup first, but for these kinds of videos, I just like to do that. Okay, I'm gonna take a rougher 28 brush and the shade Tranquil, which I don't think I've actually used on my eyes yet. But this is a gorgeous like rose gold, but it's more pinky than rose gold because I would say Aura is also like a rose gold, but this is gonna go all over my lid. This is such a wearable, pretty everyday look. I love it. Just taking a little bit more Mindful and just blending that toward the lid shade. Okay, for the lower lash line, you could totally take the same shades you took in the crease, but I'm actually gonna do something a little different, which I never do. We're experimenting today. I'm gonna take the shade Relief all over the lower lash line, just to tie in like that pop of peach. And then I'm actually gonna take the shade Vigor. I always have to use this as like a pop of something, but I'm actually gonna take a different pop of something in the inner corner, and that's gonna be how we're gonna cross connect these. Again, you could just keep this neutral. Like you could do the same look I did up here on your lower lash line. You don't have to take this pop of color if it's like something you don't want to do. Totally. For the inner corner, again, you could take any other shade that you feel like. For example, Yama would go beautifully, but I'm gonna take the shade Breath, and this will tie in a little bit of the cool tones with the warm tones, and I just think that this will look so pretty. I normally don't go in with matte shades in my inner corner, but I just really like this. I think it'll be really cute. I'm gonna take the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Icebreaker because I think it'll be a cute little pop of color in the waterline as well. So this is the final second look. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think this is a neutral lover's dream with like a little slight pop of color. So let's move on to look number 3, where we are going to really combine both sides of the palette. It's going to be very interesting. Okay, so I'm back for look number 3, where we are really going to combine both sides of the palette. I have a great idea of what I'm going to do, and hopefully my vision comes to life. I'm going to start off with the shade Vigor, and that's going to go all over the outer corner and the crease. This is a beautiful shade, one of my favorite shades, definitely. I'm gonna start packing this on the outer corner and blending it into the crease. I am gonna wing it out again. I know I've been doing a lot of that lately, but I really like that, so I'm gonna do it. And I'm using a Rephr 13 brush to apply this because it's like a really nice dense brush for this. Don't worry, it looks crazy now, but I'm gonna blend it out and pack it to my desire. And I'm gonna go in with the shade Relief, which is like this peachy shade, and that's gonna help blend out the Vigor shade. This like builds up so nicely. I'm really impressed with the Vigor shade. It's one of my favorites for sure in the palette. Now I'm gonna take the shade Mindful, which is one of the cream to powders. I'm gonna stamp that on the outer corner just to deepen it up even more and kind of start transitioning into the cool aspects that we're gonna go into right now. Okay, for the lid, we're gonna first take the shade Flow, and that's gonna go in the inner like half of the lid. I'm so scared because this color combo is a little risky. It really is, but we're gonna do it. This is a great way to combine both sides of the palette. I do feel like Flow comes across as much darker when you actually apply it on the lid than it looks in the pan, and that's like really annoying. And then we're gonna take Equilibrium, which I'm scared because honestly this one also comes across as really dark. It almost loses the teal aspect. Like they look so similar, and when you swatch them they don't. Like I don't understand. Look, when you swatch them, they're not similar. Just gonna make sure that they're really nice and blended. I really like the formula. I think they're the same formula, but I like the bam in your face aspect of Equilibrium, the darker shade. It like really looks very metallic. There you go. Before finishing up the other side, I gotta deepen out this outer corner even more because I'm not sure I'm liking the way this is looking. So I'm gonna take the shade Mindful again and just kind of blend it toward Equilibrium. For the lower lash line, I'm gonna take the same shades I took in the crease, starting with Mindful, which is the brown. I'm just gonna take that really close to my lower lash line. I'm also going to take Vigor, the red shade, and just blend that under, and then take Relief, which is the peachy shade. Tie everything in really nicely. Then for the inner corner, I'm going to take the shade Yama, which is this beautiful duochrome that definitely ties in both sides of the palette. It's literally my favorite shade. It's gorgeous. It is more of a topper, but it is stunning. I love it. And on the waterline, I'm going to take the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Peach Fuzz. Okay, so this is the final look number 3, right? We're on number 3. Yes, I actually really love how this turned out. I love this color combo. I know it's not for everybody, but this is just a way to start playing with both sides of the palette in a little bit more extensive level than I did in the first couple of looks. The next 2 looks, I just kind of want to stick to each side of the palette because I think that's a lot of fun too, you know, sticking within the same color family and cool tones, warm tones, that kind of thing. So that's what we're going to be doing, but I really hope you enjoyed this look, and let's move on to look number. Back for the 4th look, I'm going to concentrate on this side of the palette for this look. I really want to concentrate on this shade over here, which I haven't used at all in any looks that I've done. So I'm going to start with the shade Balance as the transition shade, and that's going to go all over the outer corner and the crease. I say this every time I use this. It comes out much darker on the eyeball than it looks in the pan, but it is, if you blend it out, a really nice transition shade. So I do really like this for this side of the palette. I mean, I like incorporating this with the other side as well. I think I'm gonna take the shade Vigor next and just kind of incorporate some of the red. I wasn't gonna do this, but then I was like looking at that shade and I'm like, I feel like it needs a little bit of red. So I'm just gonna take this in the outer corner and the crease. This blends so beautifully. I love it. I'm just gonna deepen the outer corner with the shade Mindful, which is one of the cream to powder formula. One of my favorites for deepening out a look. I'm just gonna do it in the outer corner though, kind of blending it toward the crease, but not really in the crease. Getting a little bit of fallout today, and I'm testing out a new foundation, so this cannot happen. Taking a little bit more of Vigor to blend out the dark brown. Just kind of make sure it's still red. While I'm at it, let's do the lower lash line. I'm just gonna take the dark brown first. Now Vigor, then Balance. Now I'm just gonna cut my crease. Just gonna add a little bit more of the dark brown shade, blend it toward the cut crease area. For the lid, like I said, I'm gonna take the shade Sense, but I'm only gonna take it, I think, on the outer part. I think I wanna add a different color in the middle, or not the middle, the front part, because this one matches the brown way too much and I did not realize that. It comes across a lot more bronzy on the lid than it looks in the pan. It looks more like rose gold, kind of pinky, but it's like more bronze. I don't know. Just a little bit more of Mindful to blend into that shade. I'm gonna take the shade Tranquil, which is this like peachy pink shade, and that's gonna go on the rest of the lid. Yeah, there you go. That's cute. Tranquil lacks that like oomph that Sense has. I don't know, there's a little bit like lacking in this metallic. In the inner corner, you know what, I'm gonna take the shade Luster because I think it'll add like a nice little pop and something different that I haven't used in the inner corner before. I was gonna take the shade Yama, but you know, that's kind of boring. This is the final look. I really hope you like it. I think this is a really nice neutral kind of everyday look, but I love the way this turned out. And yeah, let's get into look number 5. Okay, so we are at look number 5. So excited. So we're gonna stick to the cooler side of the palette. I'm probably gonna try to use every single shade. I have not used Zeal yet, so I'm gonna try to incorporate that somehow. I'm gonna take the shade Breath as my transition shade. I'm gonna do like a little halo eye, I think. So it's gonna go all over the crease and the inner and outer corner. And it is pastel-y, so it's a little more difficult to work with. I'm gonna take the shade Mantra, which is another cream to powder formula. This one's really easy to work with though. I'm gonna take that in the inner and outer corner as well as the crease, just kind of blending that into the transition shade. Now I'm gonna deepen it with Zeal, see how that goes. So this is the olive shade that I have not used. Let's see how this looks here. I am loving how this blended out. This is so awesome. So I'm gonna take the same shades I took at the top on my lower lash line, starting with Zeal, then Mantra, and then Breath. Just gonna cut the center of my lid. I'm gonna take the shade Zeal and just kind of blend that in the concealer. Oh, I'm loving how this is turning out. First shade I'm gonna take is Equilibrium, and that's the darker teal shade. I'm gonna take that on the outer parts. I'm just gonna make it like a gradient. And then I'm gonna take the shade Flow. Like I said, it looks lighter in the pan, but they almost look like the same when you apply them on the lids. So it's kind of frustrating, but it's the lighter blue shade right here. Ooh, okay. That actually looks a lot lighter today. Thank God. Love it. Just make sure these are nice and blended. And then I'm gonna take the shade Yama, which is my favorite duochrome and inner corner shade. I'm gonna take that in the inner corner, and I might take it on the center of the lid as well. We'll see. Let's see. You know what? Let's do it. Just the very center. Just give it a nice little pop. I actually really like that. Oh my gosh. Ooh, that's pretty, isn't it? This is the final look. I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I'm glad I got to use some of the shades I didn't get to use. I am so in love with this palette. I think there's so many looks you can create. You can go more neutral, more cool tone, more warm tone, mix them together. I can think of like 4 or 5 more looks that I can create with this palette that I want to do. I will definitely do them over on Instagram, so go ahead and follow me there if you are interested in seeing some more looks with this palette. I think this palette is totally worth your money. The formula is amazing and I absolutely love it. Let me know what look you liked the best. I don't know what look I like the best. I like them all, to be honest. I can't even choose. But yeah, that completes this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out so much. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. So let me zoom you guys in. Where's that other refer brush? Hold on. Pause. I'm just gonna start. This is a cream. Oh no, it's not a cream, it's powder. So I'm gonna start with the shade Balance. I've seen people use this with the blue. No. And then I'm gonna take the shade